right, just press got it. Right. When I go back and look at you doing it on these recordings, it still seems to be almost impossible to just see exactly what the position of the fingers is, because if I just tilt the camera down a bit, so I'm waffling on a bit now, there seem to be so many degrees of freedom that you can move, keep the fingers planted, but you can move so much. And, I've got this thing where my hand should be sort of relaxed and I bring it down. But when I look at Alan doing it, it's almost though his fingers are further forwards than mine. Am I getting too far over the strings? What am I doing? I don't know. This is where I'm just getting stuck, really.
Right. So, lucky for you, I have a fancy new camera angle. So I'm going to go to that.
Okay. And I'll probably need to change mine as well. So
no, it's all good. It's all good. Let me move my keyboard out of the way. So what I'll do is I'll just demonstrate that. Alan explains that we want to have the knuckles over the strings that we're playing. So here you can see my index knuckle is over my third string, second string, and so on. So if you're doing that, that should be fine, right? Because if you start rotating forward, now they're no longer on the strings, and if you're rotating back, now they're no longer over the strings. So as long as the knuckles are over the strings, you should be fine.
Right. Now, is that what I've got there? I don't know. Is that a good enough angle for you to see? Do I need to come a bit closer?
It's looking...
Let me move the camera closer. Right. So what would I be doing? I would be doing probably this.
Yeah, so to me it looks a little bit high, a little bit off, but it's just kind of moving up a centimeter.
Am I too far that
now
way?
You're too far. Like, we don't want this.
We don't want that, because that's arching the wrist.
No, it's... Let me put things in front of the camera so you can't see. So it's doing this. It's doing this. Yeah, so that's looking good.
Okay, so I might be making a big thing of this, but it's actually when you're looking from where you sit, and even with a mirror, I find it's quite deceptive to work out the perspective of exactly where everything is.
Yeah, well,
go on.
No, I was just going to say, to me, this is looking fine.
That's okay then, right. So when we do a trunk chord, we've got this sort of, I can see there in my corner thumbnail view that my big knuckles are moving and everything's going back in.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yes.
Right. Now then, just moving one knuckle, plucking one string. I'm guessing that's looking okay.
So that's okay. The only thing I would say is that you're really pushing down on your thumb. So you're creating a bit of excess tension there.
How could you tell that?
It's really simple. You just look at how the strings are set up here.
Bending,
if I see that, then
Right. Okay, relax. Okay, do it again.
So that's better. Yeah.
Right. Now let's make the next step. Now my fingers there, my M and A fingers are now almost like vertical. They're not really curled in.
Yeah, so that's going to be an issue because they should be arriving on the strings with that kind of C shape, right? So I plays, M and A go down. They're curled, but they're not straight. So we're not moving the wrist.
Yeah, I think I'm tending to move my hand up a bit in that motion.
Yeah, because right now your fingers are not above the knuckles. Sorry, are not above the string. So one thing I'll mention, and you've probably heard me say this before, but it bears repeating. When we play classical guitar, ideally we can kind of do everything from the one position, meaning that if we're gonna do tremolo, if we're gonna do chunk chords, full chunks, split chunks, alternations, whatever, um, we're not changing the wrist and kind of moving from side to side and doing all these things. The base of the technique should be from the same spot. So
Yeah.
if you're playing your I finger and then shooting out your MA,
Yeah.
as long as your knuckles are above the strings, you should be in the right spot.
So
You
if
should be
my
able to
knuckles stay. Just putting my hand there to stop my knuckles moving. I'll be conscious if they are. Yeah, I think that's curved.
That's a bit better. But your A finger is still fully extended.
Yeah.
You're still doing this. So it's very much it's
Is that because I'm rotating my wrist slightly?
it could be. So again, we don't want to rotate the wrist up or down. It's not moving. If we have a good if we have a good chunk chord,
Yeah.
we should be able to kind of take the same finger positioning and just do I M A.
Well, let's just use M and A to play a. Now, that I presume is correct.
So it's the issue is I still see a lot of kind of movement with your forearm and a little bit of a snapping in the wrist. So if you're looking at my finger, I'm just gonna play this open string, and even like I'm no picture of perfect technique, but if you look, I'm not moving my wrist, I'm not snapping it, I'm not moving it back and forth.
Yeah. All right. And you're just playing that with A, aren't you?
Yeah. Try to relax your hand. You don't have to play this strong. Nice and relaxed.
Now, when I look at that, when I look at my hand, nothing else seems to be moving now, except there's a bit of auxiliary movement on my little finger, which.
And that's fine. So that's looking better.
Okay. Maybe there's probably a lot to be gained by just spending quite a while just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be doing it correctly, which is really the reason for this. What if I do the two together? Is that worth trying?
Go for it. So that's looking good. Again, we want to relax the wrist, relax the forearm.
Yeah, that relaxation is probably something I wasn't thinking of.
You know what you can actually, you know what you could practice here is to go I plays, A and M shoot out, and just do that as a chunk.
Yeah. Okay. Try that.
That's looking better. Just really be careful that you're not doing this. It's all the way back.
Yeah. No bending of these top joints.
Exactly. So it's very much I plays, A and M go out, chunk chord into the palm. Yeah, but be careful because I'm still seeing straight A and M fingers.
Right. Okay.
So again, I'm just going to try to move closer to the camera here.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. But even I can see what now you point it out. I can see that your I and M fingers are slightly curved, but it's not as easy to see as you might think. You know, the perspective.
I know. Good.
Is that angle good? I mean, visibility. I mean,
Yeah, to me, it looks fine. It's just, um, I just think the key to moving forward is just for you to, instead of, you're not doing this, but imagine someone just going just too fast and not really in control. So to go really slow,
yeah,
and to be really confident in the movements, I think that's the path forward.
be confident in the movement.
Confidence and reinforcement. So knowing that you're doing
Yeah.
the right movement, not worrying like I'm not accusing you of doing this, but I can imagine someone panicking and just trying to go really too fast.
And,
So just reinforcing what the movements should be and getting to them.
you raised another point, which was the other thing I mentioned in when I was setting this up, which is planting fingers before playing them. And I think it's related to what you're saying just now, that something I've not been that conscious of until now, and I picked it up somewhere, whether it's from Alan's videos or somewhere else, I don't know, is this idea that
Oh yeah.
of actually being conscious or mindful of having the finger on the string before playing the string, having the fingers on the string before playing the string.
Planting is the name of the game. So plant, 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 plant. So when you talked about something not being as obvious as you thought, it's the same thing with planting. We don't realize this, but every single concert artist, every single one of them, practices with planting. Practices their movements with planting many, 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 many times every single day.
And is that even if when playing a piece, like the last study that we had has got this, we've got that, and you can't play that planting because it goes sort of staccato.
Well, yeah, but that would be the practice, is to play it really staccato, because at the end of the day, all planting is, it's, you know, taking few notes, even just like a little scale. And working it up to the point where it's comfortable, and if it's a speed thing, you kind of break the threshold of sound by planting. And if it's a musical thing, then you go, okay, well, I'm practicing this very staccato. Now that I've got it and now that I'm familiar with it, I'm going to remove the length of the plant in order to create a longer legato.
A legato line, yeah, okay, got that. Because there are some things where you just can't. Yeah, if you're playing you can't go.
Well, you can practice it that way,
Right?
But then
still practice it.
Because like this is one of the things I find in a lot of undergrad students. So whether they're in conservatories or universities, they overplant. And what happens is, if you're practicing and you're doing a practice session and you're working on that really difficult thing, cool, go and plant, do what you got to do. But when you actually go to perform that piece and someone's listening to it, you know, we don't want to hear, we want to hear. Doesn't matter if it's day 1 or day 1000 with the guitar, we want to hear the legato, and we don't want to hear the preparations.
Yeah.
But it is such a wonderful tool for practicing that we should be using preparations at like every stage in the game. I don't know if you went back and you reviewed the new 1A.
I have, yes.
Yeah. So what you'll notice is that even like on the 3-note chunks that are in 1A now, Alan really recommends putting your fingers on the strings before you go to play them.
Yeah. I think that might be where it was probably in reviewing that I thought, have I been doing that?
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna do this to show off or anything, but I've been working on a piece with these crazy scales, and I'm telling you that every day I'm doing this. Because so, like, in order for me to speed up and to play things at the tempo I need to do them, I really need to go slow with preparations and really getting my fingers knowing what they're doing. And the best
Yeah,
way to do that is with preparation.
yeah,
Arpeggios, chords, scales, whatever.
yeah. We have this feature that we have to select a note and play a note. And what I think what you're saying is by planting, you can separate those two things in your mind, so you can learn them both individually. Is that
Yes.
Yeah. Is that going to help? Because one of the things I found constantly frustrating is when I'm moving my left hand little finger into position, it's it's very difficult to actually hit the string cleanly in the right, to put the fingers, fret the string cleanly in the right place. The fingertip's smaller than with the other fingers, and we're
Right.
not so coordinating that little finger into.
Well, if you're slowing down and you're preparing each note, that's going to also give you an opportunity to prepare the note of the left hand. And
Yeah,
that sounds to me like the issue you're bringing up. So yes, slowing down and preparation, it's always going to result in more reinforcement and greater awareness of what our movements are and what kind of we want them to be doing.
yeah,
It
yeah.
gives us more control over our fingers.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the problem, that I'm trying to, learn too many things at once, as it were. I'm sort of doing like and then I'm trying to play that note, and it's almost as though this finger just won't behave itself.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a quote by David Russell that I really really like. He says most difficult things are really one or two simple things done at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly what we're saying, isn't it? Now, yeah,
Yeah, and when you compound it not only with one or two difficult things on the right hand but also the left hand, those one or two things now become 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things.
yeah,
So when we really zero in on focus on one of them, they all end up improving because we're spending that time working out the kinks and then moving on to the next one and sorting that
yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah. It's having the faith in the process that by going really slowly and doing things you wouldn't do when you're performing, that actually you're going to make progress. You think you need to practice it as you would play it, but
Yeah.
that's not the case, is it?
Yeah. It's all about breaking things down.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's probably it, really. Anything else occur to you that?
No, well, we've only got like a minute or so left before Zoom closes this, but to me it looks like you're making you're clearing the path in order to know how to move forward. So
Yeah,
that to me is the
yeah.
most important thing.
It's surprised me, and it continues, I think, to surprise me how hard it is to get this right hand action correct. You see Alan do it in the. I know he keeps coming back to it with every time he leads any kind of practice or anything. He keeps coming
Yeah.
back to it, but it still amazes me how difficult it is to do this correctly.
Well, also remember that this isn't day one for him. He's been doing these movements 15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
20, probably at least 20 years, at least 15 to 20 years. The movements in specific that we go over in the woodshed, I've adapted them. I've used them at various times since 2011. So I've got 10, 12 years on this. So
yeah.
this isn't day one, and it will come. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of putting in the time and knowing how to go forward.
Is this technique? Is this the normal thing? Then is that how you learned? Did you spend like the first 5 years learning to do this?
I kind of do it as a hybrid because I learned a little bit differently, but then I learned this afterwards, and I really apply it it's a good way.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I just wondered how standard it was. I mean, I'm not trying anything differently. Don't get me wrong. Because you've got to stick with the same method that you get confused.
All right.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, take
Thanks,
care.
Sam.
Have a good one. Okay.
And
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.